Good morning, dear students. How are you all? So, dear students, in this video, we will talk about the conceptual questions. And the first question you can see, why is burning of magnesium in oxygen called as chemical change? And you can see the answer is given over there. And I will actually tell you what is the reason actually for that one. The question is, why is the burning of magnesium in oxygen called as chemical change? And yes, in the answer, I will actually explain about that one. You can find out. If I will take magnesium and if I will burn in the presence of oxygen, it will form magnesium oxide, MgO. As you know that chemical change is a type of change where new substance form. Yes, here you can see magnesium is there and it burns in the presence of oxygen. It form a new substance, that is a permanent change, that is a permanent substance forming, and that new substance which is forming with the new properties, okay now. So that is the chemical change for you. Chemical change is a type of change where the permanent change would be there, and whatever the new substance form, that substance form with the new properties. And yes, this magnesium when burned in the presence of oxygen, it will form magnesium oxide. So this is a chemical change. Why? Okay now. So first question you have understood. Now second question you can see, why is brass considered as mixer? Why is brass considered as mixer? You can see the answer is given. Brass is considered as mixer because the brass is made up of copper and zinc. Yes, you know now. Actually, we will discuss that one. You can see the answer is written. You can see from here, but in the explanation, you can understand that one. Yes, brass is a mixer. Brass, if I will write here, brass is a mixture of copper plus zinc. Okay now. So we can say that copper and zinc, when mixed together homogeneously, when it will mix together, then it will form brass. Okay na, homogeneously it will mix together. Yes, now you can see again the question. Okay, here, why is brass considered as a mixer? Because brass is made up of two elements, that one is copper and zinc, and it is mixed homogeneously. That's why it is called as a homogeneous mixer, or brass is called as a homogeneous mixer. Now next one, why is soil called heterogeneous mixer? Next one is, why is soil called heterogeneous mixer? Yes, it is quite clear. Soil, if you will take the soil of any place, you will find at the different place its color may vary. And you can see here, it is one of that point it is written. It has, soil has different color at different places. Okay now, so that will vary place to place, it will vary. But the first point you can see, it has several minerals which are different at different places. Yes, at different places different minerals can be there. So I am talking about why it is a heterogeneous mixer. Because of all these characteristics, these can be called as a heterogeneous mixer. First, several minerals which are actually varying at different places. It has variable composition. You know, dear student, heterogeneous mixer means variable composition. Okay, and here you can see here the next thing, that different types of soils have different sizes of the particle. It is quite clear. Different types of soil, there are different types of soils, and that different types of soil have different sizes. Okay now, So on these, all the basic, all these characteristics, all these points, we can say that soil is heterogeneous mixture. Okay na, soil is heterogeneous mixture. You can say one by one point is given, so that point you can note down. Okay, the next one is next conceptual question. There you can see the sea water. Question is here, question is given, answer you will see later on. The question is, the sea water can be classified as a homogeneous as well as heterogeneous mixture. Comment. Okay na, so you can see question is sea water, it can be called as homogeneous also, and it can be called as heterogeneous mixture. I am giving you the explanation first of all, then I will give you the answer. You know, sea water actually contains salt, you know na. So if I will take 1 liter of sea water, then it may contain some given amount of salt. So I can tell you that 1 liter of salt contains 35 gram of salt. Every 1 liter of sea water will contain 35 gram of water. So in that we can say fixed proportion is there, fixed ratio is there. So in that sense it is a homogeneous mixture. Okay na, in that sense if we are talking about the sea water and salt, in that case it is a homogeneous mixture. But how it is called as a heterogeneous mixture? You know, dear student, different types of impurities actually brought by the different rivers, okay, and which fall into the sea water. So impurities, silt, rocky particles, that is not having the fixed concentration, fixed amount. So on that basis we can say it as a heterogeneous mixture. And you can see the yes answer, you can see here. Sea water contains large amount of salt along with some insoluble impurities. So large amount of salt, if it is large amount of salt, salt form homogeneous mixture. Here it is written. And insoluble impurities that settle down, sediments, form heterogeneous mixture. So it is quite clear na? It is quite clear. Sea water can be classified as homogeneous. Why? Because salt is present in the proper proportion, 1 liter 35 gram, fixed ratio. Okay na, so that's why it can be called as homogeneous. But why it can be called as a heterogeneous? Because you can see here it is written that insoluble impurities like silt brought by different rivers, okay na, and it is actually present at the different place in different concentration. So this one can be called as homogeneous as well as heterogeneous. Okay na, dear student. Now you can see next question, next conceptual question. You can see how gases can be liquefied. How can we change the gas into liquid by applying pressure? And dear student, for that I am showing one of the demonstration. Here you can see one of the container. This is not a beaker, dear student. I have taken one of the beaker here, and here I have taken some of the gaseous particle. I don't want to take like this one. So gaseous particle, you know no, it is randomly maybe moving from one another. So lots of spaces are there, okay na. So if I will increase this volume of container, now if I will increase, I will add piston here. This one is a piston, okay. So piston, if I will increase the pressure, the question you must have to remember, how can you liquefy the gas? Okay na, you are having gaseous particle, how can you liquefy? So if I will apply the pressure, what will you find? The gaseous particle will come closer. Yes, gaseous particle will come closer. If the gaseous particle will come closer, and if you will start decreasing the temperature, lower down the temperature, what will you see? That gaseous particle, initially it was having this kind of distance. Look, two particles I have taken, zoomed, I have actually shown you that one. Initially two particles have lots of distance. Due to that, it is not attracting one another. But when I have applied force, when I have applied pressure, this one particle is coming here, and now this two particle is attracting one another, attracting one another. So we can say, and we are also decreasing the temperature, so this particle, two particle will come nearby each other. That means which characteristic of the matter it is? It is the characteristic of matter, it is a liquid state. It is the characteristic of the state of matter is that one is liquid. So this one you can say liquid. Okay na? So here we have written liquid. So question you have understood na? Question, how gases can be liquefied by applying pressure? So you have understood. Here answer it is given in the explanation I have given, and the answer you can find out from there. Okay na? So thank you.